Thank you very much. We can start our works. Thank you very much for the invitation. I would like to stick to the allotted times, and therefore it's very important for me to proceed quickly. The title is very emblematic indeed. We're coming from a period that we all know about. Everything is questioned, not only the role of politics, of finance, and of the economy. What is also questioned is the relationship amongst these various roles. And so what space should be given to finance, what space finance should be taken back, and what is the relationship amongst these three subjects, politics, finance, and the economy. The crisis we're going through, people say, has been caused initially by an absence of rules, or let's say rules which have been ill applied in finance of an Anglo-Saxon matrix in particular, and that this absence of control on the part of politics of what finance is doing has led to the 2008 bubble and the taking on of improper risks. This as far as the international sphere is concerned. As far as Europe is concerned, and Italy more specifically, people tell us that we media very often tend to overemphasize things and sees Europe as a single area which is going through a double dip, caused in particular in this case, and I'm referring here the common thought by a political class that hasn't been able to manage the Greek crisis, and especially the idea it gave to others. And this is a reason why we have become entwined in a crisis, in a recession, an accounting recession, as we could call it, obviously. And we have been, let's say, in the throngs of this recession because we've seen that this, let's say, Europe has been incapable of having a common policy and of really having proven to understand the future of the euro area. And so every time that crises crop up, even in the case of Cyprus, we haven't been able to handle it. So this is the scenario we're faced with every single day. And I'm referring here to public opinion in particular. So the mass of readers, the mass of listeners, let's say, who are asking us questions. And then in reality, things are always more complicated than the way they're described by the media. And roles are less distinct, unfortunately, and also responsibilities are much more scattered, let's say, and much more spread, and not to be, let's say, put on the shoulders of one single subject. So I don't want to find a scapegoat for what has happened. And I'm saying this also because a risk that this country runs, which is very important and which is often mentioned, is the risk of the pendulum effect. Here we have passed from a state with a very strong, a country which with a very strong state presence, from the 19s onwards, and now we are hearing the echoes of then this has sort of decreased, and then apparently it's coming back again, also in terms of the participation of certain economic subjects. We have a bank such as Monte dei Paschi, for instance, which has been partially, temporarily nationalized, one could say. I mean, without those 4 billions, they wouldn't have made it. Then we have another completely different case, which is Ilva, the steel factory, where there is also there an external governance, and we will see how the state will extract money from the Riva family, the owners. And then we always hear that economics and finance are too serious to be left to economists and financial experts. And so the state should go back to its role, politics should go back to its role. So there's an implicit risk of oscillating like a pendulum from an excess of state presence, with the negative repercussions that this has had at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, to an excess instead of liberalism. Even though here I would have some doubts, and now I wouldn't want to go back once again to praising the direct intervention of the public sector in many groups involved in the holdings. the European Union that should be created in a few months' time is a political act where we're trying to eliminate the systemic risk of some big banks to take them all under the umbrella of the ECB. And this is a political act. It hasn't been decided by bankers or financiers. But obviously it's an act which is considered as necessary to avoid the risk that if a bank goes bust, it will obviously carry with it the rest of the country. We will be talking about this with the speakers that I'm going to introduce. We have Mr. Verzelli, who is director of the Acros Bank. He has been working in finance for a very long time, and this could be a demerit considering the times. It could be quite dangerous. And then we have Stephen Horvitz, who is a professor of economics at the St. Lawrence University. Then we have Luigi Marco Bassani, who teaches history at the University of Milan and history of political theory at the University of Milan. A round of applause for our three speakers. Obviously, I'd like to now call Danilo, Andrea, Roberto, Larini, the president of Fact Family Office, for the introductory remarks. Thank you very much.
I'll speak Italian. I wanted to speak English, but I'll keep my native language with you. I'd like to greet you. Thank you very much for being here with us in Milan at the second event of Crossroads workshop. The first one was in Zurich, which is our mother town, where our head office is positioned and based, the most important office. We decided for Milan because Milan is a key, fundamental, core business, financial, and economic viewpoint. This is a town, a city, where we really have a lot of interest. Before turning it over to our panel of speakers, I'd like also to give you an idea and explain why we have created Crossroads. What is its goal? We were thinking within our company to be able to create an instrument of communication which wouldn't be simply internal for our advisors, our own analysts, but that could also benefit our partners and our clients. A communication instrument which would be independent and maybe which would be a bit different from the mainstream daily kind of communication that we get from the media, from international media. So for this reason, we have created Crossroads, which is an electronic platform, and it is to be found on the web, creating workshops, events, which will travel around European cities, Moscow, then Paris, and then many more will come, inviting other speakers, guests who will discuss with us our vision, which is a bit different from other people about what is going on around us. Who are we? This is a family office structure based in Zurich, I repeat. We come from a web management structure that has been around for 6.5 years, since 2007. We have offices in Zurich, Hong Kong, London, a strong presence also on the Russian desk that is managed from Switzerland. We're now opening up a main office also in Qatar. So this is just to give you a flavor about who we are. And now I'll turn it over to Mr. Barisoni and all of our speakers and eminent guests. Thank you.